spiritual master, and to all of our illustrious Sri Rupanuga Gauriya Guru Parampara, to Mahavadanyaya, the all-merciful Lord of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself, Sri Krishna Rasak Shekhar, and our Swamini Vrindavaneshwari Srimati Radhika, and all the Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis. So, I am not qualified in any way to speak anything, but by the mercy of Guru Garanga and the Vaishnavas, a blind man can see, a lame man can walk, and a mute can become a great poet. So, only by their mercy, something useful may come. Over the last couple of days, we've been hearing very nice, deep Siddhanta. And in this ocean of Siddhanta, there's many waves. We may think that we have read some Siddhanta, and that Siddhanta is very fixed. And then, okay, I've understood this, and then I'll file this away in some compartment in my mind, and I have this, I've reconciled this tattva. But actually, Param Gurudev, he would say that there's a Siddhanta for the Kanishta Madhika, there's a Siddhanta for the Madhyam, and there's a Siddhanta for the Uttam. So, Gurudev instructs us, depending on our adhikar, our level of eligibility, and the stage in our practice. So, we've been hearing that Krishna, he has one Shakti, Swarup Shakti. But that one Shakti, it functions in three different ways. The Antaranga Shakti, the internal potency. The Bahiranga Shakti, the external potency. And the Tatastha Shakti, the Jiva potency. So that Antaranga Shakti, that internal potency of the Lord, through the agency of Balaram, it manifests all the spiritual worlds, all of the associates, all of the paraphernalia. The Bahiranga Shakti, the external potency of the Lord, it manifests all of the Loka Jagat, all of the temporary material manifestations made of the primordial substance of Prakriti. And the Jiva Shakti is Swarpana. It's a dreamlike position. As the example was given, if you're walking along the beach and you're walking in the shoreline, the ocean waves are coming in on one side and the land is on the other. But you can't say for sure where exactly is the shoreline. It's very difficult to delineate. So this is a dreamlike place, the Tatastha. And Govinda Maharaj, he uses the example that the jiva is like a fish swimming in a river. And this jiva, because he has eternally free will, and Krishna is so kind, he will never interfere with your free will. So that jiva, he can swim towards one bank of the river, and that is Maya. That is the temporary material manifestation. And the other bank of the river, that is turning our face. The one bank is Vimukata, away from Sri Krishna. And when we turn our glance away from Sri Krishna, we become covered in Maya. We become covered in the Shukshma Sharira, the subtle body comprising of Chitta, mind, intelligence and ego. And then the gross physical body made of the Panch Mahabhuts. And if we turn our glance in the direction towards our eternal friend Sri Krishna, then we can swim towards the bank of the spiritual world, to our eternal home. But we've been eternally conditioned in a state of vimukata. Due to self-absorption, we have gone away from Sri Krishna. And we find ourselves in samsara chakra, the endless circle of life and death, changing through the 8,400,000 different species of life in accordance with our karma and our desires. So Krishna is so merciful. We were hearing about the very wonderful pastime of Gopakumar and how Krishna employed so many different methods to bring Gopakumar back to him as quickly as possible. So Krishna is sending us so many books, so many teachings. Sadhus are travelling all around the world giving Harikatha, but alas, we have no taste, we have no interest in this. We are so interested in chewing the tube. Again and again we're tasting this piece of dried sugar cane. Oh, maybe this time it'll last. If I just try to find some nice arrangement, if just this happens, if I just find this partner, if I just get more money, if I just get more house down, then I'll make it in the sandcastle of the material world. But the Kashmiri saint Laleshwari, she says, you made a promise to yourself in the womb of your mother. When will you keep that promise? No baby comes out laughing, oh, that was a very nice stay in the womb of my mother. Every baby comes out crying, right? Am I right, mothers?
Yeah, yes.
It's not an enjoyable situation for the baby, and it's not necessarily so pleasurable for the mother giving birth either. For the baby to be cramped up in the womb for 9 months, not so pleasurable. But we forget this due to Maya, due to ignorance, and again and again and again we're trying to taste this chewed sugar cane of the material world. But Krishna, he sends his eternal associates. Krishna's mercy is everywhere. Just like right now there's probably 73% moisture, humidity in the air. But you cannot take a glass and scoop it through the air and drink the water. So after many, many births and the sukriti, the credits in our spiritual bank account reach to a certain position, then God's mercy condenses like a rain cloud. And in the form of that rain cloud, the form of Sri Guru, then that's the form upon which Sri Krishna pours his mercy upon us. And Acharya Mam Aham, I know myself to be the Acharya. So Krishna personally comes in the form of Sri Guru. Guru is one in the sense he's such a bosom buddy, so close, intimate associate of Sri Krishna, that he is coming to pour mercy upon us and guide us back to our eternal home, Goloka Vrindavan. So when Krishna comes once in a day of Lord Brahma, all of the avatars, they are within Krishna. So the example our acharyas have given is just like if you make a fire in your kitchen to cook the food, then incidentally your primary purpose is to cook the food, to make the prasadam. But incidentally the entire room becomes warm from the heat of the fire. So in Adi Lila chapter 4 verse 9, then if you read the purports and the shlokas from there, then Srila Prabhupada himself, he is saying that incidentally the time for management of the universe coincided with the avatar of Krishna, and because all of the avatars of Krishna are within the body of Krishna, Vishnu, everyone, all the avatars of Vishnu are within Krishna. Incidentally, when Krishna came, then Krishna never kills any demons. Why? Because he's Rasik Shekhar, and he only interacts with the Sarup Shakti. The demons are not Sarup Shakti, they are Maya Shakti. Just like Ravana, he stole Maya Sita. He cannot steal original Sita because she's Sarup Shakti. The demon cannot touch Sarup Shakti. So when Krishna came, Vishnu, inside of Krishna, who is in charge of maintenance of the material world, he is killing the demons. And Krishna comes, why? Primarily to taste rasa. and primarily to taste the rasa of Radharani. This is Krishna's mission. So we want to be very, very clear about who is Sri Krishna. We don't want to have some confused idea and try to downgrade Krishna. We may have a conception, we hear again and again, every millennium, Krishna is coming to maintain the universe. So, okay, Krishna, his primary function is the maintenance of the universe. This is an incidental quality of Krishna. And sometimes we can be very caught up on the external aspects of bhakti. They are very important, but we should know their place and we should know their function. Because we have to understand the manobhishta, the inner heart's desire of our acharyas. And we have no eternal relationship with Vishnu. Why? Because Vishnu is related to the material manifestation. And this is not our eternal home. Our eternal home is Vaikuntha, namely Braja within Vaikuntha. So, if our conception is predominated by the Aishwarya Gyan, or we still have some conception related to the material world, then we think, we'll give a lot of emphasis and a lot of importance to the activities such as Varnashram Dharma, opening farms, all these things. These are all important activities, but we should understand what is the goal, where are our acharyas trying to guide us. Our eternal home is not this material world. So we want to understand who is Krishna, really, and be one-pointed in our bhajan, have Aikantic Bhakti to our Ishtadev. So every year in Braj Mandal, there's one festival in a place called Rana Bari. All the Brajvasis come there and they celebrate one Siddha Babji. His name was Krishna Das Siddha Babji. And he was originally from Bengal, if I recall correctly, and then he came to Braj Mandal, and he came to one forest, and he constructed a little bhajan kutia, and he decided to do bhajan there. And he was doing bhajan for a very long time. Actually, he was 50 years old when he came to Braja, and he was doing bhajan for a very long time. Repetition of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Solo bhajan in a bhajan kutia within the forest of Ranabari. And then one night he had a dream, and just prior to that dream he thought, I've been in Braj Mandal for a very long time. I would like to go on Parikrama across India, and I'd like to go to Dwarkadish. I've heard about the glories of Dwarkadish Dham. So he decided, I'll go there. And then he had a dream. And Radharani herself, she came in the dream and she said, why do you want to leave Braj Mandal? This is my place, I'm here. And when he woke up in the morning, he thought, what was that? I'm not qualified for Radharani to come in my dream. I'm just imagining things. So, right at that time, he actually met one young, fresh Brahmin, and they got chatting, And that Brahmin said, I'll accompany you to Dwarkadish. And he thought, okay, very nicely, some arrangement has been made, and this guy can support me because he was quite old at this point. So off they went, and it took some months actually, and gradually, they made their way to Dwarkadish. And Baladeva Jagrusan, he has mentioned the angas of Diksha, Panchsamskaras, in one of his writings, and those 5 angas, they are branding, like, farmers still in the outback, they get the hot iron and they brand the cows. So one of the angas of Diksha is actually branding. And I think it's the Sri Sampradaya, every year you get rebranded. So it's not just once, every year you have to renew your vows. And another one is the Tilak, new name, you get the mantra from Gurudev, and Archana Upasana, the methods of worship, deity worship, etc. So Rana Bari, he went there, but to have darshan of Dwarkadish, to go into the mandir, you actually have to get branded. So how keen are we to actually go in and have darshan? So he thought, okay, and he got branded. But what does that mean? Then he took Diksha in that line. So he had darshan, very nice. And then gradually, he made his way back to Brajmandal, back to Ranabari, and back to his bhajan kutir. And again, he resumed his bhajan. And then Radharani came to him again, and she was not pleased. She said, what are you doing? You went and took Diksha there. My place is here. Why did you leave? I told you not to leave. Now I want you to go. You're not fit to stay in my dharma. I want you to leave. He was very, very distraught by this. And so he went to visit different famous personalities in Brajmandal, learned scholars, different acharyas, and they told him, we can't help you. Most of them didn't even want to talk to him. And then he met one great Babji at Radhakund, and that Radhakund Babji, he said, I can't help you. We can't go against the order of Radharani herself. No one can help you. So then, that Babaji, he was very depressed. And he went back to his bhajan kutir. He closed the door and he locked the door. And then he sat down, and great separation. Tears were coming from his eyes. He did not want to leave Braja. So with great anuta, with a great fire of repentance, then he sat down in his bhajan with ekagrata chitta, one-pointed absorption in the service of Sri Sri Radhashama Sundar. And he was chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And due to the intense fire of anutap that he was feeling, flames literally started to come out of his stomach and around his body. And it just so happened, not too far away, Jagannath Das Babji Maharaj, he was in the area, and he used to have one servant who would carry him in a basket. And so Gurudev is omniscient, so Jagannath Das Babji Maharaj, he said, there's one Babaji doing bhajan. He said to his servant, I want you to go and see what he's doing. So then his servant put him down, and found his way to his bhajan kutir. And he knocked on the door, no answer. And he tried to open the door, but the door was locked. And he peeked inside one gap in the bhajan kutir, and he saw this Babji, Hare Krishna, and flames coming out of his body. He was quite shocked at this. Imagine if that, you saw someone chanting Hare Krishna and they're on fire. This is Anutta. So, that servant, he went back to Jagannath Das Babji Maharaj and he told him what was happening. And then many villages, they started to come to this bhajan kutir. Indians, they like to gather with these kinds of things. So they took Jagannath Das Babji Maharaj there in the basket, and by this time the flames were moving up his body as he was chanting, serving Nam Prabhu. And by the time Jagannath Das Babji Maharaj got there, the flames were right up to his neck. And then some of the villagers that Jagannath Das Babji Maharaj, he instructed them knock down the door. So they knocked the door down, but by this time the flames were getting right up to his head. And then Jagannath Das Babji Maharaj, he took one ghee wick and he put it on top of his head of that Babji. And then just before that Babji, he was about to erupt fully into flames, then he raised his right hand and he gave blessings to everyone. And so every year, many Brajvasis, they come to Rana Bari and they celebrate this Babji. And just before he fully burst into flames, he got the blessings of Radharani. So this pastime is very instructive to us. We want to have one pointed devotion to our Ishtadev. Sometimes, we know from the Tattva Vichara that all the forms of Vishnu, they are ekrup, they are the same. But they are the same in terms of tattva, but they are not the same in terms of rasa. So sometimes we're thinking, today I'll chant to Nrsimhadev, today I'll chant to Narayan, to this and that. Okay, and the Tattva Vichar, yes, this is one. But, we were hearing about Baladev, Balaram Prabhu. How does he expand himself? So this is the Sandini Pradhan Vichar, when the perspective of existence potency is most predominant in the consciousness. And then next is the Samvit Pradhan Vichar, when the aspect of consciousness is most prominent in the perspective. And then finally the Haldini Pradhan Vichar, when the Madhurya, when the sweetness is predominant in the consciousness. So to give an example of this, we can take Giriraj Govardhan from the Sandini Pradhan Vichar, from the existence perspective. Who is Giriraj? He's a manifestation of Balaram. Everything is manifesting from Balaram, or the expansions of Balaram. So that's the Sandini Pradhan Vichar. Now, who is Giriraj from the Samvit Pradhan Vichar? We know he's a form of Bhagavan. That's why we're making Govardhan Puja, offering him so many preparations, because he's one form of Krishna. So that's when the consciousness is most predominant in the Vichar. Now, Who is Giriraj from the Haldini Pradhan Vichar? Does anyone know? There's one bhajan from our servant. But Radha and Krishna, yes, because no male person can be alone in the kunj with Radha and Krishna. But Radha and Krishna, they're in the kunj of Giriraj. So there's one bhajan from our Goswamis, I don't remember which one, that it actually says in there, oh, Giriraj, you have a manjari form. So this is the Haldini Pradhan Vichar. So there's many waves in this ocean of Siddhanta, and depending on which Pradhan Vichar is prominent in the consciousness, we can get a very, very different view. First we're seeing from the Sandhini Pradhan Vichar, oh, he's a manifestation of Balaram. Then from the Samvit Pradhan Vichar, oh, he's Bhagavan himself. From the Haldini Pradhan Vichar, oh, he's a manjari, serving Srimati Radhika, serving Sri Radha and Krishna. So, one time in Brajmandal, we went to Krishna Kund, where Krishna comes back to Vrindavan and he stays with the Brajvasis. And then from there, the Dwakadish Leela continues on. And so I was asking Gurudev about this pastime from the Sandhini Pradhan Vichar, and he chastised me. And he said, oh, don't be like Uddhav, don't be like Lord Brahma. They couldn't stay in Vrindavan. Why do you want to see like an overlord and look at this? And I was like, oh, I'm just trying to understand. Why did he say this? Because we want to have one pointed bhakti in the mood, in the manobhishta of our Gurudev. And Uddhav can't stay in Vrindavan. Brahma can't stay in Vrindavan. Yes, Uddhav has his form in the blade of grass doing bhajan at Uddhav Kund, but they can't stay there. Why? Because they have Aishwarya Gyan. And there's no place for permanent Aishwarya Gyan in the consciousness in Vrindavan. It's not possible because it's Kevala Madhurya, exclusively sweet. So we can be aware of these different tattva siddhantas. We can be aware of these things. But when we're doing our japa, when we're doing our sadhana, when we're doing our bhajan, we want the madhurya to be prominent. We want the waves of siddhanta to recede to the back of the consciousness and the sweetness of Sri Sri Radha Syamasundar to be prominent. We don't want this by imagination. This is not the process, but this is the trajectory that we want to move towards. So be very mindful of this pastime of Rana bari and the Babji. Know where our acharyas are trying to guide us. They're trying to guide us to Braj Bhakti. Not Bhakti to Narayan, not Bhakti to Garbhadaksai Vishnu, not Bhakti to this, to that. We want to know the heart of our acharyas. And the heart of our acharyas is Radha Krishna Seva, to be a maid servant of Srimati Radhika. And we want to enter into this process following, we want to dive into the waters of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and come out in the ocean of Sri Sri Radha Shyamasundar eternal Prem Vilas. And we want to serve that. So try to take this instruction into the core of your heart, know what is the mission of our acharyas, and try to align your heart with their heart so we can really understand what is Krishna consciousness. Who is Krishna? Yes, all the different avatars of Vishnu are within Krishna, but Krishna is Rasik Shekhar. He is the connoisseur of all transcendental mellows, Raso Vaisaha. That is Krishna consciousness. So this is something very high and something very, very deep. And we want to hear very meticulously from a Braj Rasik Vaishnava, so he can unlock all the keys. Everything is there in Srila Prabhupada's books, but unless we have the eyes of love, then how can we really appreciate all these things? We're interpolating it from our limited sense perception, because generally speaking, when we are reading, when we are hearing even the words of our acharyas through the Agni Rudi Vritti meaning of words, or the sudden Sadharan Rudi Vritti meaning of words, which means the Agni Rudi Vritti, the worldly meaning of a word, mostly slang language or its modern context and interpretation. And then the Sadharan Rudi Vritti, that means the scholarly understanding meaning of a word. But the actual meaning of a word is the Vidvad Rudi Vritti meaning of language. And the Vidvad Rudi Vritti meaning of a word is the understanding of the enlightened person, of the Uttam Adhikar. And this example was given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself when he came back from Gaya and he was teaching Nyaya. Then he was teaching grammar. Then he would say the meaning to every word is Krishna, because every word is one form of Paramatma. So the Uttam Adhikar, he understands that everything, his vision is everything is in relation to Krishna. So this is the Vidvad Rudi Vritti meaning of words. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he says the Gaudiya Mat, and it doesn't matter if you're in ISKCON or whatever, we're all in the Brahma Mat of Gaudiya Sampradaya. So the Gaudiya Mat is the place of the descent of the Vidvad Rudi Vritti meaning of words. So we should take shelter of our acharyas because they are understanding things in the proper context. And when we're in our conditioned state, even if we're reading the words of our acharyas, because of Brahm, illusion, and pramadha, inattentiveness, we can't understand how we are not really getting the pure meaning of their teachings, where it's getting filtered through our own conditioned mind. So that's why we have to move through the different stages, anatana, vritti, bhajana, kriya, all these things, and then come to the stage of nich, nista, ruchi, etc., under the guidance of Guru, and then gradually, by Bhakti Vinod Thakur explains in Jaiva Dharma, we can come to the stage of Kram Shuddha Shravandasha, purely methodical hearing from the teachings of Guru. Otherwise, when we're hearing one thing here, we're reading a book here, it's all jumbled up. It's all parrots Chinyagyan, all different pieces of knowledge. And Krishna is the Advaya Gyan Paratattva. You can't realize Krishna sequentially. I'll realize this tattva and then I'll realize another one. This is the piecemeal process, the process of elevationism, of slowly reading one thing and now I'll build my step to Krishna. But our path is there's the Aroha Panta and Avaroha Panta. Our path is the descending process. We are not in the process of self-elevationism. We have to give up this ahankar, this ahammamayati, I am the doer. Because Krishna is a dvaya jnana. You can't take one part of Krishna and Krishna is the non-dual reality. So he's not just some information that we piece together. He has to be realized in bhajan. So I think my time's up now. So we can learn something very instructive from this pastime of the Babji and Rana and be one-pointed in our service to Sri Sri Rama Shamasundar, and under the guidance of our Guru, we can come to what is our eternal position in relation to the divine couple. Thank you very much for listening. Is there any questions, any doubts, any objections?
Thinking last point you made about Aroha or Avaroha, how would that be then? If the process is descending, does that mean it's like you get realization from Krishna through his mercy in bhajan? Is that what you're trying to understand?
So So there's Aroha Panta and Avaroha Panta. So as I just mentioned, the Aroha Panta is the piecemeal process, the self-elevationism, the empirical process. Like I can learn by my own efforts. But, we know that it's like two wings on a bird. So one is sadhana and the other one is kripa, mercy. So no matter how much Mother Yashoda tried to bind Krishna, she was always 2 fingers too short. Sadhana and kripa. So she was trying by her own effort, but it wasn't till Krishna gave her mercy or his heart melted, then you can bind Krishna. So yes, it takes effort, but really it's coming from mercy, and that mercy is coming through the parampara, through guru, through the acharyas, because the guru is like I used the example of the rain cloud, that's how Krishna is giving mercy, through the guru and through the Vaishnavas, so through the sastra, all these things. Then that's the descending process, and from our own effort under the guidance of guru, by engaging in seva, then slowly we can become purified, move through the stages of bhajana kriya and nata nivriti, and then there's grace can come in that way. Does that answer? If someone wants to add, everyone here is more learned than me.
Is Avaroha Panta and Jnana Yoga, are they synonymous or is there some difference?
Say that again.
The Avaroha Panta, the path of self-elevation, is that the same as the process of Jnana Yoga?
I would definitely say there's some correlation there. It's very, very difficult actually. This is a very deep-seated anatta, this kind of self-elevationism. Like even when you're studying sastra, I've learned this and I'll file this away, and it's like, I'm the doer. It's very difficult to free ourselves from this kind of propensity. And I'll just sit and chant around. Like Bhaktisiddhanta, he says, I would rather be in an iron cage surrounded by fire than someone who takes their japamala like the reins of a horse and thinks, okay, let's do this kirtan, let's do this japa, like the reins of the horse. I'm the doer, but we're not the doer. It's a very hard propensity. If I just engage in seva, I'll be like me. It's very hard to get away from this aham namayati, I and mine, ahankara vidudata kartahamiti manyate. We're always thinking that we're the doer, but we're not the doer. And then when we become purified, we realize to some extent, I have no capacity. Everything is happening by the grace of Guru. We have no ability to actually move through anatta nivriti unless we're under the shelter of a bona fide Guru, and it's his Shakti that's purifying us by, out of his causeless mercy, engaging us in his seva. Then we can be purified of these anattas. So yes, this Jnana Yoga, if I just become introspective enough, it's still centered around my own doership, my own ego. So then we can't actually, we can't free ourselves from that, because our sadhana, the basis of our sadhana, is still my own ego. I'm the doer. So this is the problem with yoga sadhana and jnana sadhana. We can't free ourselves from that because we're still dovetailing it to our own effort.
Love needs to be released from this side too. It's not just a right that we gain and it's forced. Which is what we're after, is love and affection. Knowledge will come with that as a byproduct.
And this is also reminds me of another point, like at the start of Kartiki for a year, we go to, Vrindakunj, where we have the celebration of Fakir Mahaprabhu. So there was one great saint, Fakir Mahaprabhu, very close associate of Govinda Maharaj, and he discovered the lost deities, Radha Madhav of Bhaktivinoda Tagore, and they come every year for the celebration. And so this year when we were there was one Maharaj from France there, and he said, when we're doing kirtan, when we're doing japa, we want to cry for Krishna. But how can we cry for Krishna? We don't know Krishna. You know, if you lose your dog, your puppy runs away, we'll be, oh, my little puppy, we'll be crying for our puppy. If our lover walks off in the middle of the night, packs their bags, oh, we'll be crying because we have some banda. We have relationship. This is a mundane example, but some connection is there. So, Sri Guru is coming and he's giving Hari Katha. Like one time the devotees asked, Rana asked the devotees, Maharaj asked the devotees, what's the most important thing that Guru gives? And they gave all kinds of sastric answer, everything, Guru Sakshat Hari, blah blah blah. And then Gurudev, he said, Guru gives Sambandha Gyan, your knowledge of your relationship with Krishna. When I had Diksha, Gurudev, he said to me, maybe you don't understand it right now, but today I'm putting your hand in Krishna's hand. This is Sambandha Gyan. So Guru's going all around the world and he's giving Hari Katha, so we can learn about the form, the qualities, the pastimes, the associates of Sri Krishna. This is creating some connection. Who is Krishna? He's the butter thief. He's the paramour of Srimati Radhika. It's very hard to have a relationship with some abstract, formless conception of God. Oh, he's a formless energy. No one wants to, I'm going to become the lover of space, of some form. No, but when you hear about the sweetness of Krishna, just once if you're touched by that, your heart will be stolen. So, Guru's giving Sambandha Gyan through Harikatha, all these things, and then we're building our relationship with Krishna. And then from this very, very sweet Harikatha, then when we're chanting, not that we want to imagine these things, because that's not the bona fide process, but some relation can be there. Then we can cry from the heart for Sri Krishna. We can't do it when, you're some abstract thing out there in space. This is one of the wonderful things about Krishna consciousness. We can come to such a deep connection with the personality of reality. And Krishna, he's stealing the heart of everyone like he's stealing butter. But who steals the heart of Krishna? Who steals the mind of Krishna? Srimati Radhika. And our illustrious Rupanuga Gauriya Parampara, they are taking us to the lotus feet of the service of Srimati Radhika. And if you come to her service, Gurudev jokes, but there's maybe some truth in this. You know, if you have a cereal box, and sometimes you have a cereal box and there's a toy for the kids in the cereal box. So if you have the service of Srimati Radhika, incidentally, like the fire in the room, Sri Krishna comes like a toy in a cereal box. So how glorious is the service of Srimati Radhika. Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Jai Shri